Breaking news out of Cleveland. Dillon Gabriel named Brown starter. But the big question is, does this move Shedeur Sanders to QB2?
Dillon Gabriel's going to start, according to my sources. Good night, everybody. Chris, it sounds to me like this kid's going to start, and why not? Chris, what the hell? Chris, does it really matter who starts at quarterback with the Browns?
The way this team is operating right now, no.
Tony Rizzo just came out and said Dillon Gabriel will start for the Cleveland Browns versus the Vikings in London. Now, let me show y'all what Joe Flacco done did since he been the starter and what Dillon Gabriel got to take over. Points per game. Like I told y'all, you can't average 15, 14 points a game and expect to win in the NFL. You lucked up, and Joe Flacco bought time for one more game when they beat the Packers on a fluke win. You got 214 points. That's 31st in the NFL. It's only 32 teams. Yards per game, 279.8. That's 27. It's only 32 teams in the league. Time of possession, 31 minutes, 17 seconds. That's 12th. That's 12th because you've been running the ball with Quinshon Junkins pretty good, but you still ain't putting up no points.
My insiders say that there's strife in the building. Tony wrote about it too today. He must have got the same stuff. But apparently, it's Kev v. Andrew and Jimmy, from what I understand. Kev wants to keep Flacco. Andrew and Jimmy want the processor. The Browns have too many decision makers in football ops. Reaction or overreaction?
It's a reaction.
All day. Like, when are they going to learn? Too many, Chris. A lot of teams, the teams that do really well, the coach has his side and the front office has their side. On this team, it's everybody has everything going on. You understand?
Totally.
Like, everybody's in, except for Kevin. All he does is coach on Sundays.
I told y'all. Who making the decision? The owner. Kevin want Joe Flacco to keep starting. That, to me, that says I have job security. I don't know how I mean to y'all, but to me, it means he has job security. Because if you see what Joe Flacco has been putting on tape and you want to continue to start Joe Flacco, that means you have job security and you're not worried about getting fired if you keep losing. Now, Andrew and Jimmy want to move to Dillon Gabriel. What is happening? Dillon Gabriel going to start. So who has the power? The owner. I'm telling you, man, don't sit here and believe all that. These folk got this type power. They can make all these decisions like that. When the billionaire owner own the team, he got the final say. Kevin, why would you want to continue to start Joe Flacco? The only reason, like I've been telling y'all, I can see Kevin wanted to keep playing Joe Flacco is like they said, he really didn't like and don't like Shedeur. And he don't want to put Dillon Gabriel out there until he figures that Dillon Gabriel is ready, or he don't want Dillon Gabriel to get out there and the bed, and then he forced to play Shedeur. Like, what's going to happen? That's my take. Strife between Kevin, Andrew, and Jimmy. I can see Kevin pushing back on the owner, saying that he want to keep Joe Flacco in there to give Dillon Gabriel more time to get ready so he won't the bed and be forced to play Shedeur. Now, y'all leave a comment down below.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think they make a change. 8 turnovers in 4 games. That's 34 over a season. You cannot continue that. And I also think that they had to give Flacco time to show the locker room that it's over. You know, you couldn't just yank him if there's still a lot of guys in that room who still believe in it.
Right.
And I think that's waning. I mean, if it's waning with me, who's the biggest Flacco fan, you just can't continue at this rate.
You can continue at that rate when you sign Joe Flacco. Now, we all know y'all talk about Kenny Pickett, should have been the starter, should have been that, but y'all traded him anyway. Y'all could have kept him on the roster and traded Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur. Matter of fact, you should have just traded Shedeur and just kept Kenny Pickett. Then we wouldn't be talking about this trash of an organization anyway. But since Dillon Gabriel going to be the starter, why would it made no sense to let Joe Flacco go in and try to prove that he still got it, or like Tony G say, some people still believed in him. Who? Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward? Then the only two that matter. Because you wasting another year. So it had to be Myles Garrett that still believed in him. That's what I'm guessing. But now that Dillon Gabriel stepping in, hey, we see what he inherited. Receivers dropping balls. Maybe they thinking he gonna do a Jackson Dart.
Jack Greco with us on the hotline. When you were in the league and there were quarterback changes made, when would the players find out?
It's funny. That's a great question. You would oftentimes find out like on social media or when the rest of the world did. Or I think in situations like this, probably the captains or like the vet leaders would get a sense of it. You know, I would assume that Coach Stefanski or the offensive coaches will kind of relay that message to some of the vets or the captains early on or like before they released it publicly. And then there's, like I said, then there's been times where, you know, when you guys find out, that's when I find out. It's like, hey, let's go. But let me expand on that real quick. And I'm going to use the Giants as an example. You know, you saw Jackson Dart play against the Chargers last weekend. And, you know, he's got a unique chemistry about him and aura. Dillon Gabriel is more built like Kevin Stefanski. He's stoic. He's just going to execute. He's about timing. He's about rhythm. He's about using his legs. But everything has got to be perfect. So going back to the Giants, you saw the energy in that stadium and on the sidelines. He's dancing. He's scoring. He just had a confidence about him. When they make a change, that's what has to happen. And it's got to really electrify the unit offensively and then show the defense, okay, there's been a change made. These guys are real. Let's rally. There needs to be that spark. And I hope we get it, and I hope it shows when they ultimately make the change.
Well, I don't think you get it. I don't think you get that energy because, like he said, Dillon Gabriel is more like Kevin Stefanski. Like the most exciting quarterback in the NFL, the most exciting quarterback that's getting talked about, that is a third-string quarterback, maybe QB2 now. We'll talk about that in a minute. Is Shedeur Sanders. It's not Dillon Gabriel. You're not going to get that same type energy that Jackson Dart gave the Giants because Dillon Gabriel is not exciting. Jackson Dart is exciting because he's a first rounder. He runs the ball. He can throw it. Dillon Gabriel is not exciting. You know what you're going to get with Dillon Gabriel. Now, all I'm going to say is one quarterback put up 21 points and the other two didn't. You haven't scored over 15 points. You averaging 15 points a game. Meanwhile, the third-string quarterback dropped 21 points when he was in with the second and third string. I don't care if it's about preseason, because if it wasn't about preseason, why y'all can't do it in the regular season? And you have the starters. Now, does Shedeur Sanders move to QB2 if Dillon Gabriel gets the start? That's the biggest question right now. Not who's starting quarterback. Until 12 start the quarterback, that's going to be the biggest question. But right now, the biggest question is, does 12 become QB2 behind Dillon Gabriel? Me, personally, I think he should. But with the Browns, the way they move, I think they keeping Joe Flacco at number 2. Because like I told y'all on one of my other videos, they trying to keep from playing Shedeur as long as possible. It's too many games left in the season to even think about starting Shedeur. Now, with them making the switch to Dillon Gabriel and benching Joe Flacco, I'm thinking they probably thought they was going to have at least 2 more games. But since Joe Flacco been playing so horrible and everybody talking about it and everybody seen it, hey, we need to get a change at quarterback. And this is why we've been preparing Dillon Gabriel like a first rounder doing training camp. This is why we was getting him ready to take over. So now's the time, even though we probably doing it 2 weeks earlier. Now, they're going to leave Dillon Gabriel in there. When he start S in the bed, they're going to leave Dillon Gabriel in there as long as possible. As long as possible. And maybe even do what Mary Kay said. bring sign Bailey Zappi to the active roster and start him before Shedeur. This how bad this can get. This how delusional and losing mentality mindset that this organization has. That you would let Joe Flacco start and say, we got to prove to the people, the players in the locker room that believe in Joe Flacco that he done. So we going to lose 4 games on purpose. He lucked up and won 1. Now we going to put the rookie in like we should have started in the beginning and show them and prove to them that he ready. But when he get in that pressure, he ain't going to be ready. Now, until Dillon Gabriel get in there and he score more than 21 points, then y'all might have something. You could justify, make the argument that Dillon Gabriel should have been playing since day 1 and Shedeur shouldn't. But until then, Shedeur done put up 21 points and the other 2 ain't put up none. And the other 2 only put up 15. We gonna see what Dillon Gabriel do. And Dillon Gabriel, I'm telling you, bro, you better seize the opportunity and take control of this QB1 job. Because if it's any inkling that you playing like Joe Flacco and you not ready, and they gonna start screaming 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. And they should have been screaming it already anyway.
My savages. Moneymane in the thing of a T and playing no games. Should already know my name when I speak NCC flame. Got my YouTube popping, man. Like, subscribing, everything in between. You already know Moneymane. You all.